Hey, what is going on, everybody? My name is Dean, or as most of you know me, Twisty3, and today I'm going to be doing a bit of a bowling tutorial on Cricket 19 because a few people have requested this in the comment section lately, and they kind of want to know how to do things a little differently. Someone was saying, let me get the correct comment here, it was saying, I can never get the ball full enough of a good length to even challenge the batsman. So that's the first thing we'll talk about, is we'll talk about the length of delivery. We're going to focus mostly on pace bowling in this video because spin bowling is fairly straightforward, I think. But we'll focus mostly on the pace bowling in this video. So that's what we're going to do first. So the first thing, obviously, you've got the ball. I don't actually know how much rubbing the ball does, although I have found that sometimes it gives you like a little bit extra swing. I don't know if it actually does anything. But if you want to rub the ball, I guess you press down on the D-pad, whatever console you're on. I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. But then let's talk about the length here, because as you can see, we've got 4 lengths there. Good, full, short, and or short, good, full, and Yorker length. So there's your 4 lengths. You've actually got 12 lengths that you can bowl with. And that's what the L1 and R1 are for. L1 plus circle is your shortest length, and then R1 plus square is your fullest length. So within each length, you've got 3 separate lengths, if that makes sense. If you're holding down L1, when you press short length, it's a shorter one. If you're holding down R1, it's a slightly fuller length. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bowl 2 overs here of pace bowling, and I'm going to go through every single length as I do that. So the first one, I'm going to bowl all stock balls for everything. That's the first thing I'm going to do, and I'm not going to worry about this seam angle here because I don't know too much about it. So we're going to go with a L1 plus circle, which is the shortest possible length we can bowl. And then we're going to look at the pitch map after, just so I can really point it out to you all as to how they all come together. And hopefully you find this video informative and stuff. So that was the short ball. It might be a little bit different as well, given the variation of bowlers and the lengths. Oh, that's a terrible delivery, because I didn't release that one properly. I'll do that again. But already, I reckon we might be able to see it here as to how, for some reason, it doesn't want to do it. And then that is like a standard short length, and then we'll go a slightly fuller short length. So here's my 3 deliveries so far, and you can see I'm slowly going to be working my way up the pitch with each delivery. So this will be a slightly fuller short length ball. Okay, so we're getting further and further up the field. So now that one was just circle plus R1. So now I'm going to start going through the good length balls. So this one is going to be L1 plus X. So this is the shortest good length ball. And like, I don't really care, I'm getting hit for runs, but I'm just, for the purpose of the tutorial, I'm just focusing on the length for now. So now I'm going to bowl just a standard good length ball, just without holding any of the triggers down when I press X. And we're slowly working our way up the pitch. So I'll do one more, and then we'll have a look at the tutorial again. So now I'm going to be R1 plus X, should give me the furthest good length ball. And each one of these triggers are just to give you like a bit more variety when you are bowling, especially pace. And this is what I found something really good for Test cricket is, you want to bowl a shorter like a back of a length ball, then you can bowl like just in front of a length ball. So we'll have a look here at the deliveries for Mitchell Starc, although the game is lovely at not allowing you to do that sometimes. So that's a shorter full length ball, what I just bowled. And you can see I'm slowly working my way up the pitch. Obviously, because the bowlers are a little bit different, you will see, but majority of these, you can see the lengths changing as we go along. Because the bowlers are different heights as well, you get some slightly different results. So I need to just bowl like a stock standard full length delivery now. So there's that one. Then we'll go like slightly more than full with this next one, holding down R1 as we press triangle. Now bear in mind, this is me using it with the sticks to go up and down. I don't know how to do it with just the normal buttons, but I feel for pace bowling you should just be using the sticks because it is the best way of doing it. So now we're going to bowl a shorter Yorker length ball. is that. Then we'll bowl a standard Yorker length ball. And again, with your release points, these also can change the length. If you aren't releasing it like properly, it might not work properly. Like if you miss time the release, it might also like go fuller or shorter depending on how good or bad you do it. So that's the fullest possible delivery there. We're now 2 overs in, and I'll have a look at the at our length stuff. So as you can see, we've changed our length every single time, and it's always gone up in an increment. Majority of the time, I think there's a couple there that are similar. But basically, you can see, is there 12 deliveries? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Because there was a no ball in there. Right. So that's why there's 2 like right next to each other at the bottom there. The 2 in the middle, I think, are the difference between Stark and Cummins release points for a good length ball. But basically, you can see that there are like 12 different lengths you can bowl. See if I can bowl one in there. I'll see if I can work out which delivery I need to bowl to get it in there. I think I need to do a R1 plus X to get it there. Do I? Hang on. Or maybe it's L1 and triangle. Alright, we'll do a L1 and triangle and see if we can get it in that spot. My release point wasn't that good, but I'm going to just go into it here because otherwise it's a bit slow. Yeah, so I managed to get one in that spot. So that was L1 plus triangle, which is slightly back of a fuller length. So basically, that's your length tutorial into getting all the different varieties in length. For what you want to do there is, of course, you know, the natural variation of when you like pull the trigger back for your jumping and you're releasing will also change your length slightly. If you jump back earlier, you will naturally release it shorter. If you jump late, it's going to be a fuller delivery. That's where you get full tosses if you're going for Yorkers and you bowl no balls, etc, etc. So that's really the focus. Probably majority of this video was to focus on the length. Bowling. The rest of the stuff, I guess, is just for what I like to do when I'm bowling is I try and do as many different deliveries in sort of the same position just to change things up. Whether I'm bowling a standard delivery, if I just bowl one that's a standard, then I bowl one where I adjust the seam slightly. If I bowl an in-swinger, then I might bowl an off-cutter just so it's off the pitch or something. Then I bowl a leg cutter. I don't bowl too many cross-seamers. And even with a bouncer, I do like to use the bouncer delivery, but you can also use, I guess, the standard delivery if you wanted to do that as well. Slower balls, for me, I don't feel like they work in the game. Like, in terms of slower balls, people generally bowl slower balls pretty slower compared to their standard delivery. So, like, we'll try and go with a slower Yorker here. And we'll hold down L2 as well to do it. But it still comes through at 136. Like, a real slower ball would be like, you know, 110 Ks or something. So that's something I guess the game can sort of look into. But in terms of bowling length and stuff, that's what we've sort of covered here. Now I'll just quickly focus on the line of bowling pace, because that's another massive thing you want to look at. And because I'm using the sticks, I'll focus mostly on the release point. So if you look at the right stick, and you should be able to see there was like a fraction of a second of a frame where it shows you that release point. I will put it up there in a sec. I'll put it up in the video when this is finished. Basically, that release point is where the ball is going to be before it takes into consideration any of the things you've done. So if you want to swing the ball in and you want it to aim sort of on middle stump, you can't just push your stick directly straight. You need to push your stick slightly to the left so that you allow for that seam to come through. Think of it like you're doing one of those paper toss apps, where you throw you flick your finger, you throw the paper, the wind affects it, and then it goes in the bin. I don't know, that's like the first thing I can think of. Basically with this, what you got to do is, if you're bowling in swing, which I'm going to bowl now, I'm going to try and aim it outside his off stump, and then it will swing back in. Although it didn't really swing a hell of a lot this time. But depending on the bowler as well, you get different variations in the amount of swing and seam, etc, etc. But they're your best way of doing it. Maybe if I bowl it much fuller, we can get it to swing in. We'll try this again. So you just got to experiment. See that one? I'll just show you on the replay as to where this goes. So I aimed it outside the off stump, and you'll see it swing back in. It's probably tracking to hit middle and off there, I think, as it came back late. But basically, that's what you want to try and do. So you want to try and get it so that you account for the change that it's going to have throughout the air. So in terms of just getting players to play at the ball, or the AI to play at it, just bowl some variety in your lengths, bowl some variety in your line, bowl some variety in your deliveries. Make sure you're consistently mixing it up. And that's the best way to go about it. The other one, I guess, is in terms of field settings. For me, I generally don't like to change the field too much, but I do like to use the quick fields here. So if I just want here, obviously I want it to be, somewhat defensive. Well, I guess we can't really do defensive ones here. But if I can change up the quick fields here, and if there's something you don't like, you just go back to it and it'll change it up. So I want a power play one, I want a different power play one, and it'll just keep changing up. So there's that. Spin length, it's the same thing. You've got your 12 lengths. You've got your 4 different balls instead of 8 different balls. The flight and bounce thing, for if you don't use the face buttons, I'm not super familiar with. I just think the face buttons are much easier to navigate with the spin bowling. So that's why I go and do that. If there's anything I didn't cover in this video you probably wanted me to go over, then let me know in the comments below. I'm not too sure on what else really to go over. I've sort of tried to cover the best that I can with the things that I think I'm pretty good at knowing, and finding the best way to take wickets. Because as you've seen in my Ashes series, I am playing that on the hardest, both AI difficulty and the hardest bowling difficulty. Well, this could be a catch. Oh, no, it's not. And so with that, I am still taking a ton of wickets and getting them out for relatively good scores of, 150, 200. So, there's that side of things, and obviously they bat differently in different forms, so you got to worry about that. Plus, if you are just worried about getting wickets in career mode, I struggle with that as well. It's a lot of luck, I think, in career mode, because your bowlers aren't as skilled as they are when you're playing international cricket. So there are always troubles you got to look at there. Different bowlers will bowl different lengths, and different sort of things will happen accordingly. That is a quality shot. There's no way I'm chasing this down. I'm not even going to bother batting this. But if there is any other questions you guys have that you want me to do like a follow-up video for, so I mostly tried to cover the different lengths in this one. We can have a look here, I guess, at all of our pitching areas after this delivery, just so you can see sort of the variety of where the balls have been bowled here. Obviously, we've bowled a lot of fuller deliveries, but there is the variety in the length as we've tried to bowl sort of at least one of every kind of ball so far today. But yeah, if you have any other questions about bowling in this game, if you want me to do one that focuses more on the spin bowling, I'm happy to do that. I'm not super familiar with how the seam angle affects how the ball either moves through the air or moves off the seam, because I'm not a really smart person in regards to, I guess, the physics of how it works for the ball. But otherwise, oh, that looks out. Yes, it is. So, but otherwise, yeah, I've tried to cover as much as I can today. If there's anything else you want me to cover, let me know in the comments section below. I'll see how much annotated things I can add onto the screen to make it any better and easier to understand. But that's it, everyone. Thank you for watching. As I said, leave any comments below, and I will see you guys later. Bye.